It means that your faith in Christ has something to do with how and why you go to work. This is something people have big trouble with today. Most folks do not see their work as having particularly to do with their faith in Jesus. We don't know, like, how does faith in Christ apply over here? And this has a long history. Up until the 1500s, the Catholic Church, before the Reformation, had ended up with a relatively low view of work. Because in the Catholic view, the worship of a person's effort ended up being understood in multiple kind of tiers. You can see this in the teaching. If you go read sermons from the church from before the 1500s, you'll see oftentimes a threefold division of the application of whatever sermon they're teaching. You'd have the application as it would be given to the monastic order, the monks. And they were seen as they're the most spiritual, worshipful people because they can spend almost all of their time contemplating the mysteries of God. And then there would be an application given to the priests. And their work was halfway in between the work of the monks and the work of the laborer class. Because they simultaneously had they had one foot in the world of the contemplation of, faith and the contemplation of the mysteries of God. At the same time, they were ministering to ordinary folks. So they had a foot in the sort of real world, as we might suggest these put it. And then you would have just the worker class, the trades folks. And they didn't have much time at all to contemplate the mysteries of God. They were busy trying to make sure that they wouldn't starve to death. And so they worked with their hands. And by comparison, those folks, you can kind of see how this would work out. We don't think we do this today, but we kind of do this today. We put some things in the category of spiritual, and we put some things in the category of not spiritual. Do you see how this works? And in an old way of thinking, you could understand then how it would get to ordinary work is just not particularly valuable. But one of the things that happened with the Reformation is that first Martin Luther and then others after him began to teach that vocation was whatever area of life that you were called into, and your job was to glorify God in everything that you do. And you can understand that wasn't some teaching that's like, let me lay a heavy burden on you. It was actually an encouragement and a freedom, because what it meant is, if you're a tradesperson, if you're an electrician, if you're a carpenter, if you're a plumber, if you're a farmer, if you're someone who doesn't spend all your time, reading the church fathers and contemplating the divine mysteries, if you're a person who works with your hands, that work too can and must glorify God. Do you see how that is it honors people and it honors work? And so starting with Martin Luther, a person's work began to be elevated in importance. And this is what has come to be known today as the Protestant work ethic. When we talk about a work ethic, what we often think about today is that a person just works hard. And that's such a neutered version of it. The Protestant work ethic is that every single act of your life is capable of glorifying God, of communicating something about who God is and your faith in Him. And so everything you do, your vocation, that might mean a job outside the home, but it also might mean homemaking. It might mean, being a stay-at-home mom. It might mean owning a business. It might mean working with your hands. It might mean pastoring and ministering. It doesn't matter. The effort of your hands, the work of your hands has value. And it is a picture of your faith in Christ.